And it's one of these horses that I can't really make a very strong case against him, other than I just feel like he's got no chance of winning this race. Welcome back to the Staying On Racing channel. This is our Cheltenham Festival Day 2 preview. We're going to go through the graded action first, the Turners, the Champion Chase, the Brown Advisory. We'll touch on the bumper and then go into any handicap fancies that we might have. Welcome back to the channel, Ryan. Gareth, how are you boys?
Yeah, good mate. Very well, you?
I am fantastic, ready to slay some absolute no-hopers, because we'll start with the Turners and the worst priced horse of the whole festival. No drama this end. Surely I'm not alone in thinking he's got absolutely no chance.
No, I wouldn't be backing him. There's not much standout form in this race so far, is there? Several horses that have won Grade One, saying no drama this end, Skylight Hustle, and I'll sort that, but nothing particularly short priced.
Yeah, look, I was even going through No Drama this end's form before this, and he genuinely has the form of like a mid 130s horse. Every horse he's beaten has been like mid 120s, 124, 126. The horse he beat in the first time of the season didn't even win it, couldn't even win a maiden at Limerick. Like, there's no collateral form. It's just pure vibes, overhyped Paul Nicholls horse. We seem to get one every year. This seems to be the one. People seem to be desperate to take him on. That's probably the reason that Mighty Park has been hammered in the last few days. Gareth, what sort of chance do you give Mighty Park?
Hard to know, Jack, isn't it? That form doesn't appear to be much to write home about. Looked impressive on the day, obviously. But yeah, it's hard to know. I'd be very keen to take on the Nicholls horse too. My problem at the minute is I can't really decide who to take him on with. I think we mentioned last time Ram was in agreement, talk. I would like to see come here.
Yeah, I
think
would like to see that as well.
you have a good chance here. Problem I have is if he doesn't come here, the horse I'd probably like to back is Ballyfad. But then for someone who doesn't really talk the talk, I don't really know how at the same time I can fancy Ballyfad, but I thought he just looked a bit more of a stare than a two-miler.
Yeah, well, as Ryan will say, in his mind, Ballyfad won that race the last day, so you want to take the form that way.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Ballyfad I'd probably lean towards, but I don't. It's just crazy. It's just no Mullins horse really.
Yeah.
Here that you can be confident in. We're going into Supreme and a Ballymore where there's no standout Willie horse. It's just a bit of a strange feeling. Just a little bit uncertain who to take him on with, but I probably would like to play Slam. No drama send on the day.
Probably the bet, to be honest. Probably the bet.
The form in behind does look bad. I just can't figure out who I want to take on with. But small side with Ballyfad at the minute, but certainly nothing bullish.
If you had to say, what do you think he's what is he now? 9-2 best price. What do you think you'll get on the day on No Drama this end? I'd probably say 6-1 maybe. I don't think people are going to be in a rush to back him.
See, I think I'd say he'd probably go off sort of 3-1, 7-2 mark. I think he'll probably go off second or third favourite. I think he's the only English horse really. Well, he's the only English horse quoted at single figures, so I think he'll get some backers there. I wouldn't be so down on his chances as you two are. I think he's got some course form at least. I mean, the new Lion came into it off a similar prep last year and obviously won the race. So. Not a complete no-hoper. I mean, if I had to have a bet, I think I'd be looking at I'll sort that Sortudo form line. I think both of them are at 16-1. I mean, the write-up from Mullins on Sortudo yesterday was he might go for the Supreme, he might go for the Turners, he might go for the Bartlett.
Yeah.
Usually helpful. I'll sort that would probably be the bet, but if I knew Sortudo was going to go here, I think I'd possibly back him to reverse that form at 16-1.
Yeah, we're truly in Mullins bingo territory now at the moment. He mentioned in his stable turn in Mighty Park is in the mould of Faheen, and that he's probably going to go for the Turners, to which he shortened the 7-2. And then Rui was on after races and said he'd probably send him to the Supreme, and he shortened from 14s for the Supreme to 7s. So, I mean, it's just impossible to know. I think they'll go to the Turners. The funny thing is, people taking the Rock Dino form, literally. I think that's the funniest thing going on at the moment. Thinking, well, Mighty Park beat him by 38 lengths and El Kairos could only beat him by 3 lengths. You must think Mighty Park ran to 190 on debut. I will probably take a chance on Mighty Park though, just because I'm with you on Sortudo. They mentioned every single race for him, so if he turns up here, he could be an each way play. I'd probably just take a chance on Mighty Park. It's not really a strong fancy.
I'll probably go back to something you said the other day about my Golden Ace fancy. You could take a chance on Mighty Park, but like he's crazy short now. Like, is he 4-1, 5-1, maybe best price?
Yeah, he is short enough, to be fair, and the rumbles from the stable have kind of added to that as well. Like purely on form, he should probably be about 16-1. I see there's a lot of other horses with a lot better form. Skylight Hustle, Skylight Hustle's an interesting one, stepping up in trip. Would you give him any chance?
I don't know. I really don't know. People are saying they weren't sure about Talk the Talk. Well, I think the majority of people thought Talk the Talk was definitely going to beat him when he came down. Again, I think a bit like Ballyfad, he might be a little bit more effective over a little bit further. Gordon seems to think he's made for the turners, which wasn't my initial opinion. I just maybe thought just wasn't that good. But Gordon seems to think he's a Turner's horse through and through, and from quite early on there, he's been saying Turner's for this horse after his run at Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those years. I think there's no real standout, and wouldn't surprise me if there's a shock and something from left field just improves and takes us. Wouldn't be the biggest shock to see something in double figures scooping this one.
Ryan,
sorry, go on. Is Mighty Pot going to have another race? Or
no,
is he done?
Going straight. There was a race midweek for him for at Punchtown this week that people thought he was going to go to, but he wasn't entered. So I think it's probably a bit late in the day to get another run into him now. They'll probably just go straight. Ryan, do you give it any worry that Dr. Steinberg might be rerouted here, or do you think he's firmly set in the Albert Bartlett picture?
Yeah, again, I mean, Willie Mullins bingo, isn't it? He mentioned both races for him. I think, obviously, that they've got a few, haven't they? They've got Mighty Park, they've got Sortudo potentially, they've got King Rasco Grey, Sober's got to go somewhere. So they've got a lot of horses between this race. I think Dr. Steinberg would. I'd be pretty convinced he'll go to the Bartlett. Willie did say yesterday that it'll be down to Paul to decide whether he thinks he can settle him or not. If he doesn't think he can settle him, then he'll go to this race. But I think at the moment he's not got a good record of those Nathaniel Lacey horses then coming back for the Ballymore. They tend to get beaten.
That race could also just turn out to be a real honking race form wise. It could, like, the horses in behind might be up to nothing, which I'd be fairly wary about lumping on Steinberg at 3-1. But speaking of horses that got stuffed at the DRF, the favourite still for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase is Final Demand. K. Dottie's second favourite, Romeo Coolio, the big Westerner, Wendigo, Western Fold. Look at a competitive race, a lot more competitive than it was about 2 weeks ago. Garrett, do you retain the faith in Final Demand, or are you looking elsewhere?
Bit of a confusing one, Jack. Obviously let a lot of people down with this run at DRF. Willie's quite keen to say he feels it might be a ground thing with his run at Limerick and also at Leopardstown. I probably wouldn't go in again myself. As mentioned in the last video, I think I had a few early season bets on him. I'll probably just let those ride, but I probably wouldn't back him again. I think he's about 7-2 best price. The one that I would probably side with in this is Wendigo. I know you two don't agree.
God.
I think this is wide open as well. I think he ran Kempton over Christmas, well beat by Kitzbühel. Ran a track that I just don't think suited him. I don't think he's a speed horse, and that flatter speed track wouldn't have suited him at all. Strong stare, looks like he gets the 3 miles well, jumps well. Course form, I guess, with the run in the Bartlett last year. I'm just going to take a chance on him. Again, look at price, maybe isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I think until Final Demand was beaten, you could get double figures on him. But once he disappointed, that price did shorten up considerably.
Yeah.
Again, you see, the only thing I will say is with the hype and the profile around Final Demand, you see him at 7-2 and Wendigo at 13-2. Wendigo's price probably doesn't look that good all of a sudden, because they definitely had two completely different reputations heading into the season.
Yeah.
But probably where my money would lie at the moment. But again, I mean, usually Tuesday and Wednesday are the day for the punters to make money. I think Tuesday and Wednesday are actually pretty tough this year, and it's not.
I
It's
think
not
the
the
whole
usual.
festival as a whole is looking like it's going to be a tough one to make money out of. I could see the argument of Wendigo being ridden for a place, maybe at, if you have 16s or 20s or fancy prices, but Jesus, I think he's an absolutely shocking price at 7-1. I'd much rather back the big Westerner at 5s than back Wendigo. And it's one of these horses that I can't really make a very strong case against him, other than I just feel like he's got no chance of winning this race. It's some horses you just have a knack. You just think he was completely outclassed by Kitzbühel. He stayed on for third. Kitzbühel probably, I don't know if he's gonna go here. He might. Like, even he's 12-1 here. I'd rather probably back him over back in Wendigo if they both show up. Although he does have a tendency to jump the other way, Kitzbühel. Ryan, who are you landed on in this race?
Well, I'd be completely against Wendigo. I think he's got no chance of coming top three, let alone winning the race. He's rated some £10 below the some of these in the race. I think the bet here for me. I mean, the price has gone a little bit, but Western Fold you can still get 8-1. I think he's quite an obvious one. He obviously wants better ground. All of his best form is on better ground. He ran a great race behind Cade Doughty on his first run in 92 days at the DRF. He's finished 5 lengths behind Envoy Allen. He's beaten Affordale Fury this season. But I think the best bit of form was in a chase at Tipperary back in May. He beat Oscar's brother easily by 8 lengths. And it wasn't even extended to do so. I don't see why he's still at 8-1 when you've got other horses rated far lower than him.
Cocktail Divan, 6 Mile Bridge, all similar enough prices. Romeo Coolio 6-1.
Yeah, I think the form is there with him. I'd still be hopeful with Final Demand. Obviously Paul's still going to ride him. They still love him in the yard, don't they? It's some turnaround, but I mean Gaelic Warrior, it's only been a couple of years since he won the Arkle off of an even worse prep at the DRF, so they've got a history of doing it. So hopefully he can bounce back. But I think if you were to have a bet now, Western Fold is a very solid each way angle into the race.
Yeah, the thing that worries me with the likes of Western Fold is when they run in a lot. What's he, four runs now this season? Is it 3 or 4? He's already rated in the mid 150s, 157 or something. He's rated. It's like, does he have the class and the progression to take that extra step forward to get to winning a Grade 1 race at Cheltenham? He could well do. Rory Delargy put him up at 33-1. Fair play to him. That was a great show. I just don't know. I'd rather back him than Wendigo, to be completely honest. But, look.
You have to think I know, Ryan, you're a fan of his run at Leopardstown. You just think he was ridden to pick up the pieces. Like, he was never going to win that race. I think that maybe hurt him a little bit. If the ground was genuinely good to soft, I would probably side with him. But just based on the conditions, I can't see it being good to soft based on the conditions at the moment and what the forecast is. But yeah, I just think maybe that run maybe flattered him a little bit at Leopardstown. But because he's got that rating, which everyone's speaking about. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'll just keep the faith that he is one of these walk in the parks Final Demand that doesn't like the heavy stuff. He is kind of built like a horse that won't, like, he's got those spider legs, the big gangly things, and he jumps out and pops them forward. He might just not have enjoyed, but he's got plenty of form on soft to heavy as well. But also, did he need to handle the ground to win those races? There's still a lot of questions for him to answer. I just think a horse that was odds on before the race. I think 4-1 best price now. If you're willing to forgive that run, like he will be shorter on the day. I can't see any horse not. I can't see him not going out favourite pretty much. I think 4-1 might be an okay price, but it is. It's a leap of faith, and it's not a strong leap of faith either. Speaking of leaps of faith, anyone on Marine National to reverse the form with Majbra in the champion chase?
No.
That's crickets, very crickets, and two very smart men. Yeah, he was good. He was good, very good Majbra last day. Looks like cheek pieces have turned him inside out, as Willie Mullen said. 30 days short though, or is he banker material?
I think it's short based on that was the first time he's put it all together. He's had a jumping error in almost every start, other than that one. It's tough to back him at that price, but he's certainly the most likely winner after that race. I think Marine National will get a lot closer. I mean, for a horse that is so hyped by his trainer, he doesn't win much, does he?
Three from 9 over fences, but apparently all he has to do is get around. Supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, he'd need the ground's going to have to be good to soft at worst, and he's going to have to sit a lot closer. If Majbra gets the same freebie he got at the DRF, then I can't see anything really getting close to him, to be honest. But I suppose it depends who runs. If Thistleask was to turn up, if Solness was to turn, if they can, but at the same time at the DRF he showed that he can just go a gear quicker than them if he wants to. So I think he's going to be a tough one to beat if jumping well.
Yeah, Garrett, do you echo those thoughts or?
Yeah, to an extent, yes. I think he put it all together last day. I think there's still a concern he could throw in an absolute shocker at a fence. I don't think after one run you can say that's eliminated. Marine National, look, as you know, Jack, I was a big fan of his for the Supreme, but looking back, I know he's got good form at Cheltenham, but if you even look at the horses he's beaten in that Supreme and in the champion chase, you know, Facile Vega, RIP, obviously came with a huge reputation. He never really quite lived up to it, and you know that's who he's beaten in the Supreme. Last year, John Bond jumped like a snooker table, and then Quilixios he was beaten. So, I mean, I think there's question marks over the form there. Barry Connell seems super bullish. I certainly wouldn't share the bullishness. But this race is just a graveyard for short price favourites.
Yeah.
I know he's not going to be as short as some of the recent ones, like if you're like your El Fabiolos and even Shishkin when he turned up against Nurgamine that time. Like these big battles never seem to happen. So I just hope that they both get there in one piece, and hopefully Majbra puts up a really big performance. But again, it's just not a race I would be overly bullish on, and there's nothing really at the prices I want to get involved with. I mentioned you today, I saw Chad of Low de Sud. I couldn't have that horse near in a million years. And I also heard the person who said that the Fancies thought he was the pace angle and he would out-jump Majbra, and I sort of thought, like, surely that horse needs to be ridden in behind and comes out, you know, with one turn of pace. I couldn't see that horse leading, and I certainly couldn't see him winning.
Yeah.
Couldn't see him in the 3, regardless of what turns up.
Garrett.
Is there any chance at all? I'm assuming not. Any chance at all John Bond goes here?
It doesn't seem that way, especially racing over 2-5 over the weekend.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I thought as much. I just thought for some reason maybe if he didn't run the weekend, would he still maybe turn up on this? But
Willie gave a shout out to a horse, thinking in a stable tour, but at the races that he thinks he can get the spark back into him to shine on Champion Chase Day. Is Elete Tomps slightly forgotten in this race? I mean, he's got a lot of really good form, and he beat Marine National by 8 lengths last season.
Oh, I couldn't have him on my mind for this after the last day. I thought that was a torrid performance, to be honest. And it's going to be some turnaround to improve that. I think his 2 big runs where he's got his 171 rating from beating John Bon, who, to be fair, the one thing Barry Connell has said correctly is that everyone beats John Bon. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I think if he's to beat Mashborough, I'll be quite surprised, especially with his Cheltenham record as well, which is awfully poor.
Yeah. I just think 7-1 is like I'd rather back Elete Thompson each way than back Mashborough outright, even though I think Mashborough was probably the most likely winner. I think the race will be if Elete Thompson is back to its best. There is the chance he doesn't like Cheltenham, but if you look through his Cheltenham form, he was he fourth string in the Triumph, and then he ran all over the place in the Supreme, and then he made two absolute shocking mistakes in the Arkle, which could be down to the track, but he seems to be maturing now. He's a lot better jumper, and I think if they go and man pace up front, he's got that extra stamina in reserve. Like I only rewatched last year's Champion Chase the other day, and Jesus, Calixia, I don't think the race was all said and done. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I remembered it that Calixia was a length and a half behind when he fell, but they were right up beside each other.
Could he be one to take on Mashborough up front? He was quite prominent last year.
Yeah, he could. He could. Now nothing went with him last year, and I don't think he's the strongest of minds, shall we say, as always. I think he's got his own ideas about the game. I think if there was a competition for the pace, he might throw in the towel early. So I would probably be against Calixios, but there might be a good few going forward. Tisalaska want to go forward if he shows up. I'm not sure he will. It's not the whole day on the Tuesday. I'm not really, or on the Wednesday even. I don't have any strong fancies in the graded race.
No, well, I suppose on Ilese Tom's when you look at the prices and he's the same 7-1 as Loda Sud, I think he's got a much higher ceiling than Loda Sud. Yeah. So that's fair enough. They obviously have this angle with Calixios that he's much better fresh. They've saved him all year for the race, so that's interesting enough. He is 16-1. It's not a bad price at all. I mean, the Henry de Bromhead stable is still woefully out of form.
It's bad, isn't it?
But he does seem to always turn it around for Cheltenham week. So
I've never seen a yard that has as many horses that need to be fresh. It's like I'm not running any of them until Cheltenham. It's like Envo Allen went straight there. There's so many others to just go, look, we're going to Bob Allen just straight to the festival, fresh, straighten them up. But look, they've all got their chance. Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick comment there. So, do you think there's anything to read into this season with the run of some of Willie's big names? Should we be giving some of them benefit of the doubt? Like, I'm just thinking, like Final Demand, Elede Tomp, even Lozzymouth to an extent. Like, they're all horses that are, you would say, run fairly consistently. And this season they've all threw in like what you'd probably consider pretty below par performances. Is there any chance they could just spring back to life next week, and the likes of them could just be the 7-2 on Final Demand could just get back off the boards on the Wednesday if Willie's a few winners on Tuesday?
Yeah, it could come to the last race on Wednesday, and Mullins has had already 5 winners, and you're thinking, why didn't I get stuck into Final Demand at such a price? Why didn't I back this and this? Because if there's any time of the year that Mullins is going to get them right, it's got to be Cheltenham. I know he did have his problems early in the season with his gallops. They sunk, they had to be dug up, they were waterlogged, there's so much rain and ice and everything over here, so there's a massive chance there was a lot of horses behind their work. But at the same time, there's only so much you can take on faith and just say, oh, Willie Mullins will get them right because it's Willie Mullins, but sometimes he might not get them there.
Yeah, I did see it's his worst strike rate this season in about 15 years. Considerably down strike rate wise, so obviously something is wrong.
Yeah.
But what that is.
But you can't have 10, 11 winners every year. It's just the law of averages. He might just be having a year where he doesn't have the horses, but I suppose that's for us to go through the form book and find out, really, isn't it? That brings us on lovely to the next race, I suppose. A Willie Mullins Fest, the Champion Bumper. Does anyone have any strong fancies? The market headed by Love Sign. Danu pissed up in Navan or Nace. Won very easy and heavy ground. Quirin, Bentra Hill. Around Christmas time, there was no good Mullins Bumper horses, and now he's got 5 or 6, and you have to pick between them. Any strong fancies?
Yeah, I quite like Love Sign Danu. The time figure was very favourable compared to the rest of the card when he won. I think Patrick's already made it fairly clear that he will be riding him, which seems pretty pretty obvious that he'll go off a lot shorter than 6-1 if that's the case. He's also given a big shout. He does seem to be quite in love with that Heldam who he rides at the weekend. Who he gave a good shout to as well. One horse I from the Willie Mullins yard, Our Trigger, who is at 14-1. You can get.
Full brother to Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah, I think he's one to be interesting because so Patrick can't do the weight on him. So when declarations come out, he's going to be second, third string or on apparent jockey bookings, but that's solely because Patrick's already he can't do the weight on him. So that's interesting. If you might get a bit of a price on him, but I think Love Signed Anew is just he doesn't often get on the wrong one, Patrick.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be too many others.
I'm picking it on a similar angle to you. I really liked Quirin. That has a really interesting profile. He was bred and trained to be a flat horse over in France, but they couldn't get him into the stalls. He wouldn't get into the stalls. He wouldn't break from the stalls. So they bought him and went to Willie Mullins, and he pissed up on debut. He looked very, very good. He's a 4-year-old as well, so he'll be only carrying 10 stone 11. He'll be getting £10 from the rest of the field. And I really like the way he read through his race, and the last couple of furlongs he really sprinted clear. If there's a horse in there that can beat him, giving him £10, it'll have to be a very, very good horse. Our Trigger is similar. He's 10 stone 11 as well, but he wasn't as visually impressive as Quirin. He looked like it was a bit harder work. Gareth, have you got any champion bumper fancies?
No, I don't have anything that I'm overly keen on.
That wraps that show up.
Yeah, if you're pushing me towards one at the moment, probably Benjoy Hill, 14, I think is a pretty fair price.
Yeah,
I would just say you're saying, well, he's all of a sudden now got 4 or 5 good bumper horses. Has he really? I just think it's a really underwhelming year of bumper horses.
Yeah, I think the difference is this year they've all only ran once, and I think there's 5 or 6 of them that have won the exact same way, 9 or 10 lengths going away. So it's hard to weigh them up.
That's the thing. Given that a lot of those horses need a run, I'm debating taking a chance on Heldam at 28th before he runs this weekend. That would be my position at the moment. Yeah. But based on what I've seen in terms of performances, I'd probably side with Benjoy Hill. But Patrick does seem to hold Heldam in pretty high regard. So I might just chance a tenner on him maybe before he runs the weekend.
Yeah, you know who else is running this weekend in the mayor's bumper? Probably my worst anti-post slip this season. Ballyburn's sister, Baby Burn. I backed her for the bumper pre-race that she was beating an almighty 50-something lads. So, yeah, that wasn't the best one for me. But that wraps up the graded action. We'll just go quickly through the handicaps after this. So we're going to go through some of our handicap fancies for day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival. We'll all start with the Coral Cup. There was an interesting horse today come out of Ollie Murphy's stable tour, Indivar Blue. He was 25-1. Ollie Murphy came out and said it's his best chance. He's gone straight to the Coral Cup. It's his best chance of the week, Indivar Blue. Some interesting form. He was beaten only 3 lengths at Newbury by Tutti Quanti in a handicap at the start of the season. Tutti Quanti had the benefit of a run. It was Indivar Blue's first run of the season. So I think he's interesting. I'm not sure if you two boys know anything about him.
No, only what you told me, to be honest.
Yeah, he came out 2 years ago and he absolutely bolted up on debut. I think he went in either high single figures or low double figures for the Supreme. And then he was stuffed next time out. Yeah, was off for a year with an injury. Came back and was beaten again. Was off with another injury. So I think he's just starting to come good now. He's got a little bit of class, I suppose. He's well bred. Dr. Dino. They're all the hype at the moment. So possibly worth chancing. Especially with the back form with Tutti Quanti. I mean, Tutti Quanti's rated £21 higher than when beating him in a handicap. So the form is there. He went up and tripped next time out to 2 mile 4, and he absolutely pissed up very easily. Got hit with a £9 rise for that, but he's only won 3A. He's very lightly raced, very unexposed at the trip. Problem is, it is a turning into a Dan Skelton type of race, and a couple of interesting horses in there for him. A Pie de Nom, is that horse going to run here, or the Martin Pipe?
I believe they've already committed to the Martin Pipe with that one, haven't they? So that'll rule one out. I suppose with Indivar Blue, it's interesting that they've kept him since he ran at Aintree on Boxing Day. So they obviously think he's got a good mark and that they can exploit it. So that'll be interesting with him. The only horse I've really looked at for this race is just Gordon gave the Yellow Clay a mention for this race. Said he'll definitely have an entry, and this could be the likely destination. He would be massively off top weight, but giving lumps of weight away. But he's got decent Cheltenham form, depending on how you look at that Turners next year. But in terms of a handicap, it probably looks like pretty good form. But other than that, nothing much has taken my eye for this race just yet.
Yeah, Gareth, anything? There's another one actually I want to give a quick shout out to in this race. I don't know if he'll run here. Haven't heard anything about him. He's Willie Mullins, JP. He had a huge reputation last year. He came over for a handicap from France, ran off a lowly handicap mark off a 300-day break. He was hammered into favour. Copec de Me. I don't know if you remember that horse. He ran at the Cheltenham Festival, I believe, in the county. He was tailed off. He went off very short. He was tailed off, but it was his first run for 300 days. He went to Aintree then a few weeks later, and he got the worst ride. If anyone has a chance to watch it back, he got the worst ride I've ever seen Mark Walsh give a horse. He just got denied, just didn't get there on the line, went up 6 or 7 pounds. But they're obviously happy with the English mark of 143, I believe he has. Because they haven't ran him. They only ran him in a novice chase over Christmas. He was tailed off before he fell at the last, so it's not ideal prep. But if he shows up here, I just think he could be interesting. The fact that they haven't really ran him, and they only ran him in a novice chase, and I think he's 20-1. A lot has to be taken on faith, obviously, but I think he could be well handicapped, still very unexposed. So, Gareth, anything for this race?
I'll be honest, Jack, I haven't even really looked at it yet.
That's okay. It is 4 weeks away.
Oil Cup would be one I have an absolutely woeful record in. So that'll probably just be one for me on the day. Coral Cup tends to be historically a terrible race for me, unfortunately.
When are they going to rename it the Langer Dan Memorial Cup? I think it should be this year. What a hero. You either love him or hate him, and I love him because I backed him. If you're against him, you're shouting the house down about Dan Skelton being a cheat. If you backed him, you loved him. An interesting race, I suppose, this year with the conditions of it, and the anti-post favourite Stumptown for the cross country. He's going to put a lot of horses out of the race with the way the conditions work. It's now a limited handicap, so he's rated 163. He'll be top weight. It's only a 19-pound swing from top to bottom weight before horses have to run from out of the handicap. And in this race, they're only allowed run from max 15 pounds out of the handicap. So that means any horse running in this race of 144 or less will carry bottom weight, and any horse less than 144 will be running from technically out of the handicap. And any horse rated 129 cannot run in this race. So that knocks a good few that are near the top of the market placing that, and a couple of those own late line pass, and a couple of other horses out of the race. So seems like it's really gonna be in favour of Stumptown. Although we seen a good Gigginstown horse over not too long ago, Favori de Chandu. Anyone have any thoughts on this race?
Yeah, that's probably my one British selection of Wednesday. I'm really keen on Favori de Chandu. Thought he won really well. First time I think that was his first time running the cross country at Cheltenham. Thought he looked well. Thought he won with plenty in hand. I assume Jack's going to take the ride on the day. Stumptown is going to be giving him a decent chunk of weight. Yeah, I'd be keen on him. The money seems to have came for him as well in the last few days. I've looked on the weekend, I think, and he was as big as 11-2. I think the biggest I've seen today is 7-2, 4-1. So there's been a bit of money coming in for him. I think Gordon gave him a good mention as well when the cameras are there over the last couple of days. So yeah, I'd be pretty keen on Favre de Chantu.
Ryan, I believe your house and kids on Stumptown. Accurate.
I just think this is a 2-horse race in my opinion. I can't see anything else really getting involved. I think this is such a specialist race. The two of them have got clearly the best form at the course over the distance. They're going to have the best two jockeys on for this race, Keith Donoghue and Jack Kennedy. I don't see why you'd complicate things with this one. I think they'll finish top two. I think Stumptown will be able to give the weight away and beat him. I just think Stumptown is the best in this discipline. A bit of soft ground wouldn't go amiss for him as well, which is potentially going to be softer than it normally is. I think he won despite the ground last year.
Especially on the cross-country track, that's going to get very waterlogged, I believe, as usual. You said not to complicate things, but that is my modus operandi, is I tend to complicate things. I think the Goffer is worth a show here each way. He came fourth in it last year. Now he's actually gonna be slightly worse off this year, even though he got beaten 9 lengths last year. But he's had a lot better season last year or this year. Last season he wasn't cited in any race up until the cross country. This year he won a point to point. He was second twice and he's beaten 6 lengths in a big field Banks race at Punchestown. He was only beaten a length and a quarter by Vanillier last time over 3 miles. This horse needs a marathon trip. He was beaten 45 lengths by Vanillier in the same race last year before he ran here. So he's still only a 9-year-old. He might just be starting to get the hang of this sort of race. And at 12-1, I really can't see 3 or 4 horses beating him. So I think he's an each way bet to nothing in case. Like, Stumptown hasn't had any runs this season. He had one run over in the Czech Republic, because the last time he ran in October, winning that race over there. But he hasn't run since. He does go well fresh. Favori de Champdou is 11. I know that age doesn't really matter too much in this type of race, but I just think 12-1 is a big price. Like, as an each wayer, if someone doesn't want to back any of the top 2 in the market, they think they're too short for a race of this nature, I think you'll get a run for your money with the Goffer. That's all.
He's qualified for the Hunters Chase as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually think 3 Mile 2 is too short for him. Like, he is slow. You want any of his races, even 3 Mile 1, he's just plugging on. He doesn't have that extra gear. And I think Gordo did say in his stable tour today that he will be running in the cross country chase. So that puts those fears aside. I suppose only one more handicap to touch on: the Grand Annual. Anyone have any fancies in the Rocket 2 mile handicap chase on the second day?
Nothing strong, really. I think Jazzy Matty is a fair enough price, 16-1.
Agree. Yes.
He went up. He got up £7 for the win last year. I don't think that's insurmountable. I thought he won it fairly comfortably last year. He's obviously been campaigned just over hurdles mostly. He did have a run in the Galway plate, but I didn't stay the trip. He just tailed off after the last fence. I think he's obviously been sort of kept for another go at it, I'd say. And I think it's 16-1.
His campaigning this season is like Keane Collins screaming out, "We are delighted with one." his English mark at the moment. I think he's got a great chance, to be honest. 8 of the last 20 winners of the Grand Annual had run in the race before. So it is a race that it is liable for a repeat offender to go and win the race. I just have a nagging feeling about Be Aware. Now, a lot of people had the same feeling in the Car Cup last year, and he was very disappointing. But he's one I'd be scared of, to be honest, just the way he's been ridden this season. That would be my 2 for that. Obviously, it's very far out to be nailing your colours to the mast on a handicap at the Cheltenham Festival. Gareth, have you got any final passing thoughts on the Grand Annual?
Yeah, the one I was interested in if he goes here is Mr. Hunt's namesake, Ryan's Rocket, for Farrell O'Brien.
That's it. That's all Gareth has to say. I believe he is frozen.
I'm gone. Was it gone there?
You're gone.
Yeah, you're back.
Was my selection that bad?
Yeah. The connection completely. They cut you off at source. Go away again. Ryan's Rocket is your selection.
Yeah, Ryan's Rocket, Fergal O'Brien. Hasn't run since Boxing Day. He's actually running against this last at Kempton when he unseated. I think about halfway through the race. He's ran once at Cheltenham this year, where I didn't think he stayed the trip. He was behind Jaguar, I believe, over 2.5, and he just faded from 2 out. So yeah, I think he might be worth a go down in trip. I think he's relatively near the top of the market. I think he's maybe 14, 16, something like that. I think you guys had mentioned Jazzy Matty. I got my connection wasn't playing ball there. Yeah, like there's no reason why he can't be right there again. He broke my heart last year as very keen on an unexpected party, and I'm assuming he's not coming back for another go. So yeah, I think Jazzy Matty could be right there again. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be.
That wraps it up. We'll get a Wednesday nap off everyone, I suppose. Ryan, we'll start with you.
It's a tough day, isn't it? Probably the Stumptown Favre de Champ do to finish 1-2 in either order, reverse forecast.
I like it. Garrett, nap for day 2.
I'd probably side Ryan. I think that's pretty good. I totally agree with him. I think it's a 2-horse race, but I would just have him the other way around. But yeah, like I don't see why you have to get too complicated with that one.
Okay, well, 2 boring naps. I'm going to nap a horse in the champion bumper. I really like Quirin, and if a horse can give him £10 and a beating, I will eat my words, but I don't see it happening. 12-1 nap for me. Boring 7-2 nap for the boys. That wraps up our Cheltenham Day 2 preview. Thanks for watching. Stick around till the end for giveaway details. Until the next time, we'll see you then. Thank you.